Good morning, students. It's me, Miss Sania, and today we are back with another lesson. As you all know, that we have completed General Ayub Khan in the previous lecture, so today we are going to take a start with Fall of East Pakistan from 1970 till 1971. In this tenure, we are going to discuss about the causes, how did it happen, what happened, and what should be done further. So we are going to discuss each and everything which is related to this. But before moving forward, hurry up, grab your notebook along with pencil and pen and start noting the important pointers. And yes, you're already familiar with the other guidelines. So, starting with Fall of East Pakistan. The SLO which we are going to cover today is 8.3.1. Discuss the reasons for the tension between East Pakistan and West Pakistan. For example, unfairness in administration, lack of political representation, armed forces, and economic distribution. In this SLO, we are going to discuss about what exactly what were the tensions between East Pakistan and West Pakistan. For example, unfairness in administration. It means administration bodies were not performing well, or if they were performing well, so the distribution was unfair. Why? So we are going to discuss those factors. We're also going to discuss about lack of political representation. It means that politically people were present over there, but there was lackness over there. It means representation was not perfect. There were armed forces also over there, but the armed forces distribution was also unfair. And yes, the economic distribution was also unfair. So, whatever queries were there, we are going to discuss into this SLO. I am going to emphasize much more onto this SLO because there were multiple questions along with MCQs which came into the past papers. Now, starting with the introduction of Fall of East Pakistan. In 1940, the Premier of Bengal, Fazlul Haq, put forward the Lahore Resolution. As you all know, that we have already discussed about Lahore Resolution, which was passed in 1940, which demanded that Muslim majority regions, as in northwest and eastern zone of India, should be grouped to constitute independent states in which the constituent units shall be autonomous and sovereign. Well, it is written into the Pakistan resolution, which is known as Lahore resolution. It is written into that resolution that they were demanding for a separate homeland to practice the norms, to practice the conditions, and to practice each and everything which is related to their cultural traditions, right? So for that purpose, they needed a state where they could practice things independently, where they shall be autonomous and sovereign. It means whatever they want to practice, they can practice it over there. But with practice, they also needed a constitution. Constitution, as you all know, that it is basically a written document in which rules and regulations are written, and each and every person have to follow those rules and regulations who is living into that state. So, this led the people of Bengal to believe when independence came, there would be an autonomous state center in Bengal. So, when there was the discussion of partition was going on over there, then Bengalis were thinking and they believe that they will be representing themselves as an individual, as an independent state. So here we are talking about Pakistan. We needed an independent state with the name of Pakistan, which was named later on. But here, Bengalis were considering themselves not a part of it, but yes, apart from it. It means two different entities. Then in 1946, the word states became state, and in 1947, Muslims in Bengal found themselves governed from Karachi. But then you all know that you have already studied into the previous classes about the partition of Bengal and then reversal of partition of Bengal and then finally the fall of East Pakistan. So after getting independence, where we were talking about multiple states, finally we have joined into a single state, and there Muslims in that state, Bengal, found themselves governed from Karachi. It means that Karachi was basically heading them, and Karachi was basically governing the conditions and positions over there. So they were also appalled to learn that Bengal was once again to be partitioned with a significant portion going to India. So they all knew this thing that Bengal is once again, it is going to be partitioned. It means here we are talking about partition of Bengal, and then with a significant portion, it means that a significant portion is given to India. Those who want to stay back with the Indians and they don't want to join with Pakistan. This included the major city of Calcutta with its port and important industry. So Calcutta remained at the part of India and rest of the Bengal it became the part of Pakistan. So from as early as 1947 seeds of tension were sown. Events were to make that tension grow, and then with the passage of time, when in 1947 we got independence, then seed of tensions were sown. They all were tense. Why? Because it was a newly independent state. We were facing political problems, economic problems, and social problems, and everything related to that. Because we were a newly independent state, so we wanted and we were basically struggling to improve our conditions and to improve the conditions of others who migrated with us to the newly born state. Now, the reasons for the tension between East Pakistan and West Pakistan. The first tension is economic disparity. All measures taken for enhancing the economy were favored to West Pakistan. It means that all of those measures, the safety precautions or the measures which were taken, it was in favor of West Pakistan but not in favor of East Pakistan. Here we are discussing about all of those reasons that why they wanted freedom or why they wanted separation due to all of these factors. Then foreign aid and capital was invested in West Pakistan, not in East Pakistan. Bengalis, they also believe that the jute trade was used by West Pakistan. It means that they are producing jute, they're making products from jute, but still, whatever, when they're selling those products into international markets, because there at that time it was not you cannot say that it was the clear route that they directly should come to East Pakistan first. The whatever profit they're getting first, it used to come in West Pakistan, and then through West Pakistan it used to come into East Pakistan. So due to that factor, Bengalis were thinking that the profit is also, you know, minimized over there, and the profit is also the profit which they're gaining, it is also used by the people who are living into West Pakistan. Then during 1949 till 1960, the per capita income of Pakistan increased from 330 to 373, and the per capita income of East Pakistan declined from 305 to 288. So you can see that the East Pakistan, you can see that West Pakistan is basically, getting successful over here. It is going towards progress, but when we talk about East Pakistan, so it is declining. So that is a clear statics which is shown in front of you. Bengalis believe that the West Pakistan growth was due to transferring resources from East to West Pakistan. So it was basically their belief that they are not having resources into East Pakistan, and all of those resources are present into West Pakistan, and some of the resources are transferred from East to West. So they are getting benefit from that, but East Pakistan is struggling financially along with as lack of resources in this regard. Now coming towards point number two, unfairness in administration. Unfairness means that you are not equally treated in whatever you are doing. That is known as unfairness. Now, the senior government positions and posts in the civil service were given to West Pakistan. It means that East Pakistan, the people of East were considered into these government positions, but not in majority, in minority, and majorities were considered from West Pakistan. Even high level posts in Dhaka were usually filled by the West Pakistan or refugees from India who had become Pakistani citizens. So you can see that it is completely favoring the people of West, but not speaking in favor of the people living in East Pakistan. Lack of political representatives. Despite of the fact East Bengalis were in majority, but governor generals and prime ministers were nearly always from West Pakistan, despite of the fact that they were in majority, but still governor generals and the higher ranking positions in political agendas, in the political government, it was selected from west rather than the people living in east. Coming towards the fourth one, that is armed forces. Military crackdown in 1971 against Awami League supporters. It means that military was not in favor of Awami League supporters. Awami League was basically the organization of Mujibur Rahman. Mujibur Rahman, he stood up and he spoke in favor of the people living in East Pakistan. Now, Awami League was the only supporting party of East Pakistan and they were arrested. Well, they were arrested because they stood up on roads and they started protesting against their rights. They started protesting that they needed rights and they are not treated equally. Senior positions in army was given to less than 20% of officers who were from East Pakistan. So you can see very clearly that even in the armed forces as well, they were not treated equally with the people of West Pakistan. The assignment for today is question number one. Discuss the reasons for the tension between East Pakistan and West Pakistan. For example, unfairness in administration, lack of political representation, armed forces, and economic distribution. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening to us, and I hope that this presentation turned out to be something important and informative for all of you. Still, a few people are having any sort of questions, so you can ask me on KP under my instructions over there. I will respond to you over there. Inshallah, we'll return back with another presentation for all of you. Till then, take care, barakallah, and Allah Hafiz.